Hey, what's up, guys? ArtDude47 here, and I am back after quite a long break. I just wanted to check in, update you guys on the game, update you guys on some life, things like that. So basically, there's a few reasons why there hasn't been an update video in a while. First and foremost, I've recently gotten married. There was some planning, plus we went out of town for a honeymoon, and so I've been pretty busy. On top of that, there's been an issue with planning on the game. I don't think I had set myself up with a clear roadmap, and so once I had ironed out basic details of the game and gotten them programmed, it was hard to determine what to work on next and exactly what needed to be done with the game. So I think that was a bit of an issue. And then finally, there was an issue with some of the way the game's been programmed. This is really my first attempt at completing a full-sized game. And so as it gets more and more complex, I've been running into issues with the way I've been handling things. And we'll talk about that a bit more. But first, I do want to show you the game and what I have worked on, because I have been working on the game. I just haven't made videos in a while. So I've actually got a build of the game running here that you could see, and we've got a main menu. Currently, the only things that work on the main menu, we've got a settings, which actually just switched it to my other monitor for some reason, but you could change the graphics resolution, you could change the dialogue speed, and that's it for settings right now. The only other button that works right now is New Game, and you could see we come up with 3 empty save slots. If we click one, we have to enter information for the character. So we'll just make it just random stuff. I'll call him Bobby, and his nickname will be Bob. Born January 1st. So we're going to confirm Bobby, nickname Bob, birthday January 1st. That's correct. So then we're going to load into the game. We've got Bob. What should I focus on this week? And you can see I've added 2 new icons here, and I just noticed I didn't ever extend the background, so that'll get fixed, but that's not the main issue. So really, once we get here, it's kind of back already to what we've programmed. There's a few things, though. The first you'll see is a background. As we get to the classroom, there's a different background here. What I did was I just made some AI art for now to have actual anime backgrounds in the game. So that's what you're seeing here. We do the same thing. Shie introduces herself to me. And then it becomes the weekend. We'll go ahead and meet one more NPC, because I did also try my hand at getting some AI art for NPCs, just so I could get away from using Persona NPCs. So here's the park, and you can see I've got an NPC called Belle. This is the art. Again, it was AI generated. I have not drawn this. At some point there will be finalized art. So we meet her. It's the same conversation, just different character now. And then it goes through the week as normal. Oh, we're going to run into Belle in the hallway as well, which you can see there's backgrounds for everything at this point. So then the other thing we've got, of course, is now we can call. We've got Belle and Shie. We'll call Belle. And we will ask on a date. We'll go ahead and set it for tomorrow. And we can do... We'll do the local park, because I think I wrote dialogue for it. So of course it asks, do you want to go to the local park on X date, the date that we chose. And she's going to agree now, because in the test build there's no way for her not to. Of course, in the final game, there would be chances that they're not going to agree to go on the date. So now it's Sunday, we'll click go on a date, and we show up to the park. Actually, I haven't written any dialogue, so you see it shows up to the park, but there's not a date currently written for this NPC for here. So that's kind of the final state of the game. Of course, settings menu works as well, other than the fact that it keeps sending it to the other monitor. I'll have to figure out what is the reasoning for that. But so that's kind of it as far as the build of the game goes. So we'll hop back into Unity for a moment, and we'll talk about a lot of the problems that I've run into. There's a lot of them, but basically the main problems here are that I have gotten too reliant on scripts directly referencing each other and singletons. The idea at first was for the main game manager class to be a singleton that everything else could easily reference, and that would be basically the only singleton. But as I've added more features and kept programming, I've got a ton of different singletons, and I've got a ton of scripts just tightly coupled, just referencing each other. And that gets more and more difficult to keep up with the more features I add. So we are going to have to figure out a solution to that for the game to continue and for videos to continue. And I've been working on that, so now I will show you what I've been working on and what's been taking up all my time. Alright, so what you'll see is a new screen in front of you, and basically what I've been working on is a complete refactor of the project. So I've been rewriting all the code, I've been changing my file structure and organization, everything. I've been trying to be more organized, and I've been rewriting everything. I've been focused more on making systems work than graphics, which is why you see the UI in the state that it is. But you can still see the basics everywhere that you look. This almost mustard yellow, of course, would be the scrolling background in the final version. I decided to display the date like this, and so what this will look like is a page of a calendar when it's done, and as the day switches there will be an animation that plays that kind of shows it tearing off. But everything else looks similar to what it did, and hopefully more similar to Tokimeki Memorial, because I really like the style there, and that's what I've been trying to kind of mimic. But here is the biggest thing. I now am trying to be way more organized. I currently don't use any singletons, I don't use any coroutines. Before, another issue was that all of the time-based stuff, so how long it took before a day changes and everything like that, was handled by coroutines, and that got messy, and every time I would change something, something would go wrong with the coroutine, or things wouldn't work like I wanted. Now, everything I'm doing is using Unity events. So you'll see here I've got an onStat change player stats. It takes the player stats UI and it updates the UI. So when the stat changes, it fires off this event, and the stats UI listens and updates. I have this player action animation. It's got two scripts, player actions, which has on activity success, and you can see there's two things that subscribe to that and fire off, and it just makes it more organized. It makes it easier to change. If I change how an action works, I don't have to change any references or anything like that. Things that subscribe to that event will still subscribe to that event, and it updates that way. So we'll play it. I'll show you how far I've gotten so far. I'm still in the process of building out the game, so I'm not to where I was. But here's where we are. I don't have a dialogue system yet. I've been working on making the day's transition work. So while there's no graphic or anything, this button works as studying humanities. So we'll go ahead and press it, and you'll see we get an animation each day, and then the day changes, and on Saturday it stops, because that's how the game worked. Now those animations I did take from Tokimeki Memorial, so they won't be finalized, but you could see the stats get updated here properly. Humanities is now 8. Fitness, I don't think I ever linked up because it should be 0, but I'll fix that in a second. You get the point. So here, and then this second science, I haven't decided what the last stat is going to be or if there isn't going to be one. But yeah, so you can see it plays the animation. And the other thing I'm trying to show you right now is sometimes there will be a fail animation. He keeps passing, see if I can get him to fail for you, because it now does that calculation. There you go. When he puts his head down, that's a failure. That never made it into the last game. That's already working. It does the calculation. It decides if the player should pass or fail. And there's already math behind it. So basically what happens is there's a 70% chance to pass and a 30% chance to fail. And just so you know, in Tokimeki Memorial, the way that works is if you pass, your humanities goes up 2 points. If you fail, it only goes up 1 point. And then the failure rate also scales with your stress in my game. So as stress goes up, you'll fail more often, which will give you, a reason to rest and reduce your stress. And so it already does that calculation. It plays the animation. It waits for the end of the animation before the day completes. And so you can see it in action one more time here. And you can see the calendar also, of course, works and updates. But now it's all event driven. This doesn't use, there are no, if you look here over on the inspector, there are no hard-coded scripts accessing other scripts. There's none of that anymore, because it just makes everything more complicated. There's only a few things in my hierarchy. They all just use events to determine what happens. So that is where I currently am at. That's how the game is going to be structured going forward. The reason I've been waiting on making a video is because I wasn't sure I was going to go through with a refactor. Basically, I was going to start it out, see how it went, and see if I felt that I was making good progress and that it was going to make it easier to complete the game. And I think that it is. So I am going to go forward with the refactor. And so as I get more progress, I will check back in and show you guys. But that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. Please feel free to comment any questions. Like the video, it helps out a lot. And of course, subscribe to keep up with the development process. Thanks everyone. I'll see you in the next one.